This is WFO Radio.
Hey, everybody. WFO Radio is back. That's right. And we got Greg Anderson going to be talking about winning his 97th career pro stock race in the National Hot Rod Association and tying the legend Warren Johnson. It's all happening on the show. I see Greg down there in the ready room. So everybody, if you're a fan of the factory hot rods, if you're a fan of pro stock, you're going to want to share this edition of WFO Radio. Share it, put it out there, YouTube, retweet, whatever you're doing. If you're listening to the podcast, copy and paste the link because this is history. 97 wins for Greg Anderson. I'm going to tell you about the people who make it possible for me to interview these drivers, like our Patreons, for instance. Don't talk about them enough. Steve Johnson said earlier, everyone's got to have an advisory board, right? Well, they are my advisory board, the Patreons. I run all my big career decisions. They heard that I was going to be doing the Fox show first. It was like 1 minute before, but they got that news first. Patreon.com/WFO Radio. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for supporting our show. Also, Total Seal Piston Rings. We'll be in Matt Hartford's pit 1 p.m. on Friday doing another trackside tech talk. I have to mention that to Greg because he was at the last one at the U.S. Nationals. Wonder if he learned anything. Wonder if that's why he won the 97th race. Something he learned in the trackside tech talk at the Total Seal pit. That might be a little bit of a reach. But you can check out Hidden Horsepower, Total Seal's podcast. It's all educational. Ring Seal. Apparently, it's very important. Check them out, TotalSeal.com. Marvin Rodak, Rodak'sCoffeeandGrills.com. Coffee might be less important, or maybe it's more important. 817-924-6821. Rodak'sCoffeeandGrills.com. Hot sauces and spice rubs and grills and tools and tips and information from a grillmeister in Texas. Check them out, Marvin Rodak. And samtech.edu, the next generation. Where are they coming from? Education for machinists, crew members, crew chiefs, people who want to be hands-on and live their dream in the world of motorsports, aerospace. Check them out, samtech.edu, and Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School, the Dragster Adventure at frankhawley.com. After we hear from GA, I'll take your comments, your thoughts on all of it, and we'll tell you how to get some WFO merch and swag and all of these things. But right now, let's bring him on. NHRA Pro Stock's winningest driver, tied with Warren Johnson, Greg Anderson. Greg, congratulations.
Well, thanks, Joe.
Well, it was a journey. But it paid off.
I guess that's just the way important things and cool things are supposed to be. They're not supposed to come easy. This one certainly didn't. And a lot of agonizing days in between the last win to this one from the 96th to 97th. I had a lot of chances. A lot of great opportunities, and for whatever reason, couldn't seem to get it done. So I guess the gods were just telling me, you know what, it's not your time yet. You're going to have to pay a little bit more, a few more dues, and we just want to make sure you earn it. And you're not handed it, and nobody's going to hand it to you. We don't want it handed to you. You're going to have to earn it. So, hopefully we finally did that. I feel pretty good about the way things went this weekend, and just a great day, obviously, to get the tie, to finally tie Warren and to start off the playoffs with a win and to get our first win for the Hendrick Automotive Group and HendrickCars.com and Rick Hendrick. That's something I wanted to do ever since the first day we put the logo on the side of the car. So I apologize to all the great folks there that it took so long, but it finally happened and there's a reason for everything. You just got to always believe that and be patient. And I think we were. I think we kept our heads in the game and didn't panic. And I kept saying, you just got to keep doing what we're doing. We're too good a race team. The race car is too good to not win. When the day's right and the good Lords want us to, we'll win again. And we did.
Well, we've seen a couple of examples of this over the years where a great driver, and I'm thinking Dan Fletcher, I'm thinking David Rampy, up against that 100 number. And it's weird how the number pushes back against, and you got all these people, like every driver in the other lane knows what's going on. And frankly, your competition, they were reveling in, and not in a mean-spirited way, but they know what it's all about, right? Nobody wanted to be the person.
And they should. That's exactly how they should act, and I can remember when I tried to get my 50th win. It was a long dry spell from 49 to 50, and from 74 to 75. That 75th was a long dry spell, and poor NHRA, they carried along this big cardboard cutout. Congratulations on 75. They carried it around in their trailer all year long. And they kept saying, when are you going to get this done so we can stop carrying this around? So I can remember that's just how it works. When you get to a milestone like that, it's like you just got to scrape and claw and fight, and it will not come automatically, will not come easy. But that's the way it should be, and I'm fine with that.
Yes. Well, exactly. Now that you've gotten it and you broke through, and the way you did it, racing the number one qualifier in the final round, Erica Enders. And I've been thinking about this for a long time, like the way the circuit has closed. Like, she beat you for her first win. And I remember that vividly. Like, it's amazing how time flies, and also sad that we're getting old like that. But that was a thing. Erica going to get her first win. Who's it going to be against? And there were a couple of finals, and you fought her off a couple of times, but eventually she got you. And then here we are at the other end of the spectrum. You're trying to tie Warren Johnson, and you're going up against Erica, and she fights you off a few times, but ultimately it came against her. What about that? And before you answer, I think I have a video of Erica talking a little bit about this. Before I get your opinion, allow me to play what she had to say about you and this moment a few months ago when she actually held you off and won a race.
When your competitor is a multi-time world champion and a 96-time national event winner, one of the baddest dudes Pro Stock has ever seen, you know that you have your work cut out for you. So honestly, I was just focused on what I was going to do in the cockpit. I needed to nail my burnout, hit my spot, and just stage as shallow as I could, crack the tree, hit my shifts, and hopefully turn on the wind light at the other end. But that thought did not enter my mind. But I do want to touch on that. Like, I wouldn't mind being on the other side of his history. I'd be next to him right in the final round when he was able to get it done. And anytime I roll on any property, I would absolutely say I'll take a runner-up finish right now if I could secure that. So being able to be next to Greg in the final round when he gets it done, I would gladly take that honor, because he's, again, one of the best that this sport has ever seen. And he was that guy, but I'll gladly be that girl.
What does that mean to you to hear someone who you battle against so hard for so long, who is so good, say that about you and your career?
Well, that's pretty darn cool, Joe. I mean, the bottom line is, I know and I respect her. I know what kind of racer she is, and I guess she knows and respects what kind of racer I am. And we just, I don't know, we're probably too, over the top about our racing gig, and it means so much to the both of us. I don't know that there's anyone else in the class that a win means as much to as either myself or her. And I think that's what makes us be able to do a good job out there. I don't know. So I like that. And I like that about her. And obviously you got to respect what she's done. And I guess she's got to respect what I've done. So it's almost the perfect story, I guess. It's the way it should have been. It's the way it should be. I was at first for her. And now this milestone, she's in the other lane. So kind of, if you're going to draw it up, that's the way you're going to draw it up. You're going to write it up. So kind of a storybook writing, and cool deal either way. She's got plenty to be proud of. She surely should not be, disappointed with anything in any of the races we've had together. She certainly showed me the way to the finish line many, 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 many times, Joe, especially this year. So nothing to be ashamed of for sure. And I guess we'll both hold our head up after that one and call it a success.
Michael Heiner is out there, says, good job not sucking on Sunday.
You can just delete him right now. Delete.
Poor Michael Heiner, man. They're don't worry, Greg. They're coming along.
He needs a day job, something bad. Has anybody got anything that he could do during the day?
I do. I didn't know that. Heiner, you want to help out?
Get him something to do.
Okay. All right. That makes perfect sense. Let's talk about the round by round, because to me, it's interesting. You were the number 2 qualifier. Yeah. You went up against Gaydosh first round, and, they're still working on things over there. John is working on his program, trying to be out there, had a problem. Isn't that where he backed up over the parachute?
Yeah. Yep, sure did. And that was sad to see. I feel bad for John. It's, I don't know what happened. I didn't get to talk to him afterward. I'm not sure what happened. That's a bummer. You don't want ever win that way. So disappointed for him, and, an unfortunate thing that happens. But as John has learned and is learning, there's a million ways to lose, buddy. And I think I've done most all of them, but we create new ones every day. That's just another one that, that you got to go through. And I'm sorry, but you'll be fine. You'll be back.
Yeah. Well, exactly. He's got passion galore.
He's got a lot of passion. I'll give that guy a lot of credit. He's a great guy. He got a lot of passion for the sport. So don't count him out. He's not going to go easy.
Exactly. Second round, though, you had to go up against the old Total Seal car, Matt Hartford. I think you heard me talking about our trackside tech talk that we got going on Friday at 1:00. You were hanging out in the pit at Indy, and we were kind of amazed. It's like, hey, Greg's here. And it's like, hey, Greg's hanging out here. And it's like, hey, Greg appears to be interested in this. He's like learning something. You stuck around the whole time.
Here's the thing, Joe. If any of you guys in this business think that you know it all, you're wrong. You don't. There's always something you can learn from anyone, any other person. Always has some bit of information that could possibly help you. So I'm always ears. I'm not a big talker, but my ears are always open. So I love to hear what people got to say. And yes, I thought it was very interesting and very knowledgeable display that they did. It was fantastic. And I'm glad to hear they're going to do more. And I'm going to join again because it was very interesting, and I'm certainly not going to deny that you can always learn from anybody different. So I'll be around for the next one, and Matt did a great job with it. All the guys that put it on did a fantastic job. I expect the next one will be even better yet. So I'll be there.
That's awesome. No, well, and that's what a great endorsement for the program. And folks, just so you know, if you got to come to the race though, right? You got to buy a ticket for the race. You can't just come into the track and see free drag racing and say Tech Talk. But if you are a sportsman racer, the stock eliminator guys all the way up and down the ladder, there's something to learn. Obviously, if Greg thinks there's something to learn, there's something to learn. But you in Hartford, 7th thou. What a great race. Not every race has, I think you both had in-car cams or on-car cams, so we could see both perspectives. It was just razor close. He got off on you a little bit, 5th thou. You outran him a little bit, came out to 7th thou, and who knew that wouldn't be the closest race of the day, right? But at that point, excellent race. You came out on top. Yeah,
fantastic race, and obviously Matt's a hell of a racer, and he's got a great team behind him. They do a bunch of things over there that are they're very knowledgeable with their race car. Let me tell you right now, and as I told you about the Tech Talk, I learned from the way that Matt races a lot of things. He's sharp. Him and Eddie over there do a fantastic job, and they know how to race a race car. Let me tell you. So if you think you're going to go up against Matt Hartford and have an easy win, you're dead wrong. And I was very lucky to get that win. He made a heck of a run. I made a heck of a run. It was just a great side-by-side drag racing, and for some reason, it was my day. My win light came on, but he's got nothing to hang his head about. He did a great job, and he's going to be a heck of a threat for the rest of this countdown. I have no doubt. So proud of him, and he's a great guy. He's been great for our team. He's been a great addition to Team KB Racing.
Yes. Well, it has been fun watching it all go down, but that margin of victory was 7 times greater than the semifinal. You like that, the easy math, against you and Troy Coughlin Jr., the whole, Jegs versus Greg Anderson battle. You're wearing a little bit different paint scheme this time around, but it was important. And Troy seems to be, getting acclimated to these pro stock cars. And that was a 1 thou race, 1,000th of a second. You left first by 2 thou. He outran you by 1 thou. And even I can do that math. That's 1,000th of a second. Walk me through that. It had to feel close.
Well, pretty much a dead heat. And I never looked over, and I try to make sure that I don't look over, because all you're going to do is cost yourself. If you look over, you're going to make a mistake. So I try not to. And when the wind light came on, anytime it comes on and there's a Jag car in the other lane, that's a huge day right there. That's a day in itself. And I don't consider that car any different than it was a year ago or 2 years ago, with Jag driving the thing. There's just been so many titanic battles between the two of us, with Summit on the side of my car and Jag on the side of that car. And it continues. It's no different right now. And that car has really come alive lately. It's been fast for the last 3 races. He's doing a great job driving it. So another one, and the list goes so deep, but he's another one that's a serious threat for the championship this year. So 1,000th, I got around him. Otherwise, he's probably in victory circle at the end of the day, and he's leading the points. So it just, I'm telling you, it's like the old hand grenades deal. It's an inch is as good as a mile, and or horseshoes, whatever the correct answer is there. was just lucky. You got to have luck to win these days. I don't care how fast your car is. You have to have luck. Really that simple.
It's got to line up. It's definitely cosmic. And nobody wants to hear that with all the work and money and effort and time that ultimately it comes down to luck. But everybody is working so hard. It's not luck, I don't know, but if things have to align, right? Like you got to get right with the racing gods. Hey, look, a race fan out there. Somebody, woohoo GA, someone named Kimberly Anderson.
That's another one that needs a day job.
Maybe she and Heiner can have a bake sale or something. They can set up used parts.
I thought she had a busy day.
Who knows? All right, final round. I was lucky to speak with you in the pits for the Fox show where we kind of laid it out. And, they're getting ready. You're getting ready. You've been down this road before. The races that had happened previously that you had come up short, the ability to not allow them to infect your mind, your thought process, all of that. You seemed confident. You seemed ready to go at it again. And it obviously worked out. Take me through that pre-race strategy session.
Well, it's really simple, Joe. You just have to go back and put everything out of your mind that you've lost the last 10 races in a row or whatever it's been, 5 in a row, whatever. It doesn't matter. That means nothing right now. And you really have to block out who's in the other lane. That's hard to do, definitely hard to do, but you have to do that, so you try to do that when you're up there. And you just hope today's your day. The gods are with you today for whatever reason. I just won a 1,000th race, so obviously the gods are with me today. And same thing happened in the final. It appeared that, that the staging deal was a little bit off, and we kind of both hit the stage light at the same time. And those are always tricky. Those definitely don't usually play into my benefit when that happens, but for some reason, it played into my hand this time. It was total by accident that we hit the light at the same time, but that's the way it worked. And obviously she missed the tree a little bit. So, the gods are with me. It's really that simple. There's no other explanation for it. Our cars are so even. And, when we both do a great job of driving, then we're going to be very even too. So it all comes down to whose day was it? And I guess it was mine.
Wow, that is amazing stuff. So Reinhardt's been on. We've been talking a couple of weeks as we're thinking about this, and we've noticed the past few races, your reaction times have gotten better, right? There was a period you had a couple of 60s. You lost some races with 60s, and now all of a sudden, teens, 20s, it's improved. And there was some speculation about maybe you said to yourself, hey, I got to knuckle down. I got to do something. I got to hit the tree. I got to, have you been actively working on making your driving better?
Well, I have, Joe, but it's still, I don't know. I don't have the exact explanation for it, but it just flat comes down to how good a focus you have on that day or that weekend. And that seems to change by the day. Maybe you're good on, on a Saturday and you feel comfortable and you see the tree well, and then come Sunday, you just can't focus. So those days happen. And for whatever reason, these last couple Sundays, Sundays have stayed in focus. And I thank the great Lord that that's happened. Will it happen the rest of the season? I have no earthly idea. Do I work on it? You're darn right I do. But there's still no guarantee when you wake up Sunday morning if you're going to have it or if you're not going to have it. And I've certainly had plenty of days where I haven't. And the last couple Sundays, I guess I've had it. And I hope I got 4 or 5 more Sundays in a row that I have it. But you just never know. You try as hard as you can, and you try to prepare, and you know what it takes. It takes complete focus. Sometimes it's just hard to get there. And obviously, as you advance in age, as I've done, maybe it's a little harder to get there every time. I can still get there, but maybe I can't do it every single time anymore. So I hope I got another 4 or 5 races in me.
Well, exactly. I think that is pretty interesting. Who was the most interesting person that reached out to you after this milestone? Because now, the dam breaks. You've tied Warren Johnson. Maybe surpassing Warren Johnson will be just as hard as tying him, or maybe it'll happen in Charlotte this weekend. Like, we don't know. But there were a lot of reasons this was a big deal. To tie WJ, Mr. H sponsorship. But to me, to beat Erica and that 40-point swing in the countdown that could end up being championship number 5 is probably the biggest. Talk a little bit about that and talk about the people who reached out to congratulate you.
It probably isn't. And I've had a ton of people reach out, and even people that I didn't consider were necessarily on my side anymore, on my bandwagon. Some of the guys from the old days, when I worked with Warren and things have called and congratulated. So didn't expect all that. And it's been a tremendous amount of positive feedback from everybody that's been around my career all my life. So fantastic. But I got to be honest, the coolest connection was 15 minutes after the race when Rick Hendrick called and he congratulated me. And as excited as that I was to win this race and to beat Erica and to win the first playoff race and to get number 97, that guy right there likes to win more than I think I do. And I don't think I've ever met anybody that wants to win as bad as I do or likes to win as much as I do. And I've met my match there. He is, without a doubt, all about winning, and he's so excited. He's so in tune with what's going on over here. I mean, obviously, he's got a ton going on with his NASCAR program, and they're certainly awesome over there, and they're going to, have a great chance to win championship over there, with 4 of his cars. So he's got all these things going on, and he's staying in touch with our program over here, and he knows exactly what all the things that are on the line are all about, the history with Erica and the history of Warren and the record books and all that stuff. And it's just impressive to see. But what sticks out is how much I can tell that he is all about winning. He wants to win, and he wants to win. That's his life too, just like it is mine. So, obviously I'm happier than heck to see that, to hear that. And I'm proud to be associated with him. And I'm just as proud as can be that I finally got a win with his logo on the side of the car. I apologize that it took so long, and I feel horrible. I feel bad, but maybe it just it was a great setup. Now we're rolling into Charlotte, his home track, with a chance to break the record. So if somehow, some way, the stars align and that happens this weekend, what a story that will be. I'll tell the world that I planned it this way, and I just I kicked her in neutral for 4 or 5 races because this is what I wanted to happen.
Yeah,
It'll be very high, but that's what I'll tell everybody.
Not at Summit Motorsports Park, not at Atlanta. We had to hold off. It was
Like
very
I said, it'll be very live, but I'll tell everybody that.
Well, he's got a drag racing background, and NASCAR has become such a big money sport. And I understand a business guy like that, went into all he did with Days of Thunder, for instance, to front all the money and cars and storylines for that movie. There was recently a documentary. Ryan McGee did a documentary about that. He'll probably be at the race this weekend too. Is it top secret that Mr. H is coming? Because I think I just let the cat out of the bag.
Well, I don't know. I guess I'm not quite sure how many people he wants to know, but he's going to be out there Friday. He told me he'll be out there Friday night, and he's excited as can be about the weekend and what could go down this weekend. He's all about that. He obviously just broke a record himself. He's the most winningest NASCAR owner, in team history. Also, he broke that record today. I think it was Junior Johnson. He broke that record today, this year too. So he's all about the records. He's all about winning. And he wants to be a part of this great story too. So it's an exciting deal. And yes, he will be out there Friday. So anybody that would like to meet one of the nicest guys I've ever met in my life, swing on by and have a chat with him.
Yeah, and I think one of his drivers in a certain number 5 is going to be out there as well.
He's going to be out there also. Yes, he's going to learn a little bit about these pro stock cars. And the guy obviously can drive anything. And I wouldn't be afraid to throw him the keys to this pro stocker any day, because he's proved to the world he can drive anything with wheels on it. So it'd be cool to see one of these pro stockers.
Well, I love the cross-pollination, honestly. To me, it's good for all motorsports. I don't like the siloed stuff, even with our own thing with Pro Stock and Pro Mod or Pro Stock and Top Fuel. Like, I love it all. There's something beautiful in all of it, and it is going to be great. All right, everyone's asking. I'm going to ask you specifically. You mentioned Mr. H. He's a part of the program. But WJ, have you heard from WJ, or is that going to happen after the breaking, or like, what's the story?
Well, I have not heard from him yet. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But regardless of what anybody else thinks they've heard or whatever, just like I respect the heck out of him. And this certainly wouldn't be where it's at today if it wasn't for him, with all the knowledge I gained from him and all the years that I worked with him. He's certainly a great part of it. So he's got nothing to be angry about. And just like Erica said, she didn't mind being on the other side of it. I don't think he should mind it either. And it'd be cool if he showed up this weekend and gave it a chance of being around to see that record broke. I don't know, when and if it'll happen, but I think that he should be proud of it and, wear it well. And he's a big part of it. That's just the way it is. He's very responsible for what this all happened here.
In my conversations with him, as I'm sure you've heard he felt he sounded that way too. He's also a busy guy and focused on engines and doing his own thing, and who knows. But I've never publicly warned he believes that he's part of it, like that he said, like the knowledge that he learned over the years, and then you guys worked together, the history, the 200-mile-per-hour run, all of those things, and then you going on to do your own thing. And isn't that the kind of the way it's supposed to work?
That is the way it's supposed to work. And yeah, I think he's absolutely fine with all that. And I'm certainly fine with all of it, giving him a lot of credit for it. So it's a cool story. And as he said a million times, records are made to be broken. So if and when it happens, then it's going to happen again someday down the road. Somebody else is going to come along and break that record. So that's what it's all about. That's what life's all about, setting records and someone coming along and breaking them. And that's the cool story. That's the cool part of life. So I'm just happy to be one little spoke in that story of life. And, someday, as you say, that even if I go on to set the record, somebody else is going to come along behind me and break it.
Well, hopefully that pro stock is still the thing and relevant, that may eventually happen. I don't know who it would be, though, just looking at the drivers now. But, boy, you've got a great stable of young drivers. This Dallas Glenn, the kid is awesome. Kyle Koretsky doing a great job. It's been really interesting to see this crazy youth movement. Erica says she's a grandma out there. I don't think it's an exaggeration, obviously. But as someone who has been so long in the sport, what's your opinion of it all? Watching these guys learn and throw their lives into it and do so well.
Well, it's cool. And yeah, I when I started and I won that first race, I guess it was back in 2001, everybody just shook their head and said, well, he's a flash in the pan. That's, one and done deal. And here we are 97 races later. So you never know. Dallas Glenn could be that next guy. Kyle Koretsky could be that next guy. Aaron Stanfield could be the next guy. Troy Jr. could be the next guy. The list goes on and on. Mason Magaha. It's just the list is so deep right now. And that's what's great about pro stock. We were worried to death a couple of years ago about the future of the class. We're not in the least worried right now with all these young guns that have come in, and they're not talentless, flash in the pans. They all got talent. They all got great equipment. They have zero fear. They have no fear at all. They could care less that Greg Anderson or Erica Anderson in the other lane. They're up there to whoop tail, and they could care less. And they're not making mistakes. They're not the general newcomer that's going to go up and you can count on them making a mistake. They're not making mistakes. So if any one of us think that, this championship is for some reason all about either Eric Anders or Greg Anderson, you are dead wrong. There's about 8-10 other drivers out there that you would not and should not be surprised if they're standing on the podium at the end of the year. It's that deep right now. It's that awesome and it's that tough. And I can't pick a favorite. I really can't.
That having been said, you've got a 41-point lead over Erica, just showing how that final round would have made a big difference. Aaron Stanfield, 95 out. Dallas, 99 out. Kid Chaos, 107 out. So it's very close. It's razor close. Getting out of the first round, getting to the semis, that's going to be where it's at. And then the close races in the finals as this thing plays out.
Yeah, and the beauty of pro stock right now is really, honestly, Joe, anybody from first round on can beat anybody. So I can lose first round. Erica can lose first round. Anybody can lose first round, second round, and have a big points flop any given weekend. So it's not like it was 4, 5, 10 years ago where, you only had 2 or 3 strong cars and, the biggest fear was you'd get beat in the semifinal or final and you lose 20 points or lose 40 points at the max. Nowadays, you can lose 80 like that because anybody can beat anybody. And that's what's going to keep this deal even all the way down to the end and going to keep it where there's still guaranteed, with 1 or 2 races left, 6, 8, 10 cars that could still win a championship.
What is Jason Line's schedule at the track for these remaining races? I think I saw him out there. I know I saw him in Indy. He's wearing glasses to disguise himself out there.
$1 million question, Joe. He's already committed to Charlotte. He's going to make that 25-minute trek all the way across town, and he's going to be on hand at the Charlotte race. Past then, I don't know. We're going to have to do a lot of negotiating, a lot of sweet talking, trying to get him out there. But, I think he stepped back and he missed 4 or 5 races in a row, and I think he enjoyed being up at Indy and at Maple Grove. He was getting back involved, and he was working on all kinds of projects, and I think he liked it. I think he missed a little bit when he was gone, and He may not admit that, but I think he missed it. So I think we're going to have a chance of seeing him at a few more races this year.
Awesome. Greg, thank you for making the time. Obviously, this was a big milestone, but there are more milestones ahead. 100 wins, that's big deal. Forrest Manzo, Fletcher Rampy, that's it. That would be rare air to join those guys. And the way you're running, it could happen this year. And if it did, boy, that would be championship number 5 as well. I wish you great luck. It's going to be so much fun. The entertainment level is through the roof. The way you're doing it has been a lot of fun. Thank you for making time here on WFO. And listen, on a personal level, I was doing my first stint on Fox Sports 1 ever this weekend, and I was really inside my own head trying to do a good job, focusing on doing my stuff well. And after it was all over, I thought, oh my goodness, I got to interview Greg Anderson as he tied Warren Johnson in wins. Like, that is something that I'll have forever, no matter what. So thank you for that, and winning this weekend.
You're very welcome, Joe. I appreciate everything you do for this sport and this class. You're fantastic. Your desire is right up there with the ones behind the wheel, and it's cool to see. And you can tell when you talk to you, you're very knowledgeable about everything, and you really care. So that's cool, and we're glad to have you part of it. I'm honored to be on your show. I really am. So looking forward to the weekend and possibly making a little more history. But maybe what I should really look forward to is maybe next week I can get on Joe's show again.
There you go. Thank you. That was so over the top. You're making me blush. I love Pro Stock though. And I have, great relationship with everyone in the category because I feel like we got to push it a little bit harder, right? There's not fire flying out of the sides of these cars. They're not going 320 miles an hour, but what you do and what Jason did and what Erica and Dave working behind the scenes and, Chris McGay, everybody like really working so hard for this class. It deserves a little bit extra push, and I've always tried to do that. So thank you.
We do. You're welcome. Thank you, Joe. We appreciate it.
All right, Greg, I'll see you on Friday. Good luck entertaining Mr. H, and let's turn this into like a 5-year deal, okay?
Sounds good, buddy. Thank you.
There it is. There he goes. Greg Anderson, the winningest Pro Stock driver ever, tied with Warren Johnson, 97 wins. Will he make it 98 wins this weekend? Will he go on a run to win the countdown? It's going to be interesting, and we'll just have to wait and see and find out. They are going to run them out, and it's going to be great, epic, close final rounds. Now, Erica is going to have something to say about it, and Elite Motorsports is going to have something to say about it. And what's more entertaining than that, really? I can't think if you like drag racing. Oh, look, it's Kim. Good job. Thank you for having him on. Thank you, Kim. Appreciate it, Kim Anderson. Like, what about the day job? You and Heiner get together, and what would the business be? I'm kidding. I don't have a day job either. I sit here and interview drag racers. This guy says, yay, Greg. Denise, I missed it. You missed Greg, Denise. Big mistake. Good news is it's all archived. You can watch it on YouTube. WFO Radio TV on YouTube. Exactly. Great show, Joe. Justin Bond will be in Belushi's Pro Charger car this weekend. Oh, thank you very much for that note. Says Pickle Rick. Celebration, said in the Charlie Murphy voice. Greg is the best. See you here next week, GA. Oh, Kelly Wade is out there. Joe, I thought of that immediately for you. I'm glad you were part of the moment in such a big way. Well, yeah, Kelly. It was. So, I have to be. I haven't talked a whole lot about the whole Fox deal because it's a one-off deal. I was just trying to keep my nose above the water. That was it. Just keep my nose above the water, not make a historic, lifelong blunder. And I felt like mission was accomplished. But then the idea that, oh gosh, Greg Anderson ties Warren Johnson, who Warren and Kurt Johnson were my favorite drivers coming up as a kid. Snake, of course. But then as I got a little more into it, Warren with the Hurstols, and Kelly is the one who wrote the Warren Johnson book, by the way, which you can purchase on Amazon. You should all get it. If you haven't gotten it, you should get it. It's great. But the reason I became interested in Greg Anderson was because of his connection to Warren Johnson. A lot of people think there's a great rivalry, and I'm sure there is or was or whatever. But for me as a fan, I viewed it as an extension of Warren Johnson and all the knowledge. And so I, watched and was interested in Greg, and Greg ran Pontiacs for a while. That was a big part of it. And we've been so interested in this milestone. And here he's coming around the corner, and for a millisecond, I just could not get out of my own head. Like, wow, I get to do this. Like, how do I get to do this? It's random luck, right? Because, Amanda and Jamie and Bruno had other things they were doing. I was a last-second call to the bullpen, and there was nobody in the bullpen. And so they kind of went out, and they got a hot dog vendor who could, can you throw? And the hot dog vendor said, I don't know. And I got to get in the game. Wow. Awesome. And if you like drag racing, right? Like no matter what happens, if you don't like drag racing, it probably doesn't mean a whole lot. So what? But I like drag racing and I like pro stock and I like the history of pro stock and I like this milestone. And I loved what Erica had to say prior to this. Like I'm proud to be part of his history. And those two, I believe they'll be forever connected as two of the greatest of all time in our sport, regardless of category. So it was pretty good. And thank you, Greg, for saying all that nice stuff. Checks in the mail. All right, final comments, guys. Get your comments in the comment section because we're not done yet today. Tommy Johnson Jr., 3:00. I know. I had somebody say earlier, I'm not done with Steve Johnson. You got to watch live on days like this, folks. I'm going to Charlotte tomorrow morning, bright and early. Headed to Charlotte. We got to get him in. What was the choice? To not interview somebody? To skip the interview? What were we going to do? To compress them all, Steve Johnson, Greg Anderson, and Tommy Johnson into one super show? I don't know. I think these were all like unique milestone victories. That's all. And so 3:00, we'll be back with Tommy Johnson Jr. Walt's dad just bought a super stock car. He's ready to go. I miss Greg. Hello. What's the EE versus GA record? Rounds, final rounds? I don't know. We'll have to get Reinhardt on that. He's got the data. I don't know. Wouldn't it be nice, though, if there was a website that we could go look that up? Like, wouldn't it be nice? Like baseball-reference or racing-reference where you could put in head-to-head and it's a public resource and everybody could just go and geek out. Like, wouldn't that be great? I think it would be. Let's see. It's always nice to see history in the making. Absolutely. Great interview, as always. Thank you. Yeah, someone was asking me how many interviews I have done. I don't know. A lot. Kelly, thank you. No, thank you, Kelly, for doing all that work and putting out the history of Warren Johnson for us all to understand. Warren in the snow, 30 below, welding a pipeline or something for 75 cents an hour. Oh, my gosh. You wonder why these Minnesota types are all into work. Right? Where South Florida types are into the beach. Yeah. Thank you, Nicole. Should try out for the Yankees. Yeah, exactly. Call the bullpen. Right now, I think I probably got a shot of making it the way the Yanks are looking. Joe, you are so lucky to get to be a part of that great history in drag racing. You work hard for it. And the Tommy Johnson thing, Mark Rabillas said to me, and Mark, if I'm not, by the way, Mark, my condolences, obviously. For those who follow Mark, you go to Mark's page and see what's up. But he goes, wow, that was, John Force. You almost got to interview John Force. And yeah, that would have been cool. But honestly, I've interviewed John many, many times and it's great. And I'm so, fortunate that they come on WFO Radio. Probably a good reason to subscribe to the show, by the way, guys. And Tommy's one-off performance. And if you did not hear in the early show, Matt Hagan has been cleared to race at Charlotte. So I'm excited for Matt and I'm happy about his health, but I'm also disappointed for Tommy. But I also think this guy got an opportunity to go out and win one for his dad who passed away earlier this year. And that's what I was talking about with Mark Rabillas and Tommy experienced it. And I'm so fortunate to have my dad still with me. But I'm, pre-devastated by it. And so for Tommy to be able to do that and those snap-on guys, his old team to come down to the top and we're here to support Tommy. And everybody was just so excited. Like I wouldn't change that in any way. Force got to the final round. My one-off experience, I don't know, like however good a job I did or didn't do. And I think it was perfect as far as the memories and the moments. What would have had to have happened to make it better? Like I can't even imagine. It was great. And a lot of you have reached out to me just with nice stuff to say. Thank you for that. It was really good. Jim Zimmerman, great show. Dale Renner did a great job in the top end. Thank you. It was fun. There's a lot going on down there, guys. There's a lot going on. The camera is zooming in, zooming out, moving all over the place. And just like seat time, right? I feel like I got to make one run. Like I got to make a run in a Pro Stock car. Now I'm thinking about, oh my God, wouldn't it be great to make a second run? You did a great job, Joe. We all appreciate the way you lay down to, all the way down to the sportsman. Thank you, James. Thank you very much. I love drag racing, and our sport is beautiful and awesome, and it drives people to work hard and achieve. There's nothing, it deserves more attention, honestly. But if we could have fit 10,000 more people in Maple Grove, I think it would have been uncomfortable. Right? Like, there was no space for more people. You need all day for Steve. Steve Johnson, yeah, he was great. If you didn't see Steve. And Billy Torrance was really something special yesterday. And I hope that you guys can all go back and watch it. There's going to be a lot of content. I'm going to put the link to the YouTube up. Thanks to, I think it was Pickle Rick who put it up there. No, it was Jeff. It's a long link. I don't know why it's so long. But Billy on YouTube, just talking about his thoughts about the countdown and his thoughts about drag racing and his thoughts about the way we're doing it. And he doesn't agree, but he was cool. He's going to try to win the championship. He's going to run all the races. He's going to try to win the championship to prove a point. He says he always goes at Steve. Watch the interview. You'll love it. But Steve Johnson was good too. You're going to have a long career interviews at the drags. Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's already been pretty long. Honestly. Started in Miami in 1999 doing motorsports. I'm cross millennia, barely. I do watch live, but I fall behind because I work on arbitrage. That's an excuse. No excuses, Derek. No, listen, you're working. Tom, yay, love Mr. Johnson. So cool to me. Well, he is. Kelly's out there. Anderson answer. Look at this. Way to go, Kelly. What? Enders and Anderson are now 21-21 in prior events and 3-3 in final rounds. I got this from the notes in the final round at dragracecentral.com. Good call, Kelly, just in case Rick got it wrong. But what does that tell you exactly about those two in their career? Erica and Greg are 21-21 and 3-3 in final rounds now. Awesome. Thank you, Kelly. Way to be a virtual producer out there. Lisa says, did Hendrick not get a win in Pro Stock from the Ray or Marson days with Bruce Allen? Don't know exactly. Maybe he's talking in the modern era, but I know Mr. H was involved with Ray or Marson way back in the day. I don't know. I'm a listener due to the result of the JFR tweet of the show interview. Can't believe it's 2018-ish. Can't remember. You've only been with us since 2018. Derek is a Patreon, so he gets to say whatever he wants to say. You are the best, Joe Swag. Denise, everyone, you guys are being too kind to me. Oh, look at that gross link that's showed up in the comment section. Oh, well, eventually it gets you to our YouTube page. Eventually. Go check out Billy. He was great. All right, guys, we're not done yet. I got to tell you about these people who make it possible. Let me tell you about the Patreons. It's a VIP listener club. Behind the scenes, they get to be a live studio audience on the Ignition show. They get to chime in on the show. They get to be a part of our advisory board. They were the first that I told I got this great opportunity to do the Fox Sports 1. That was like Friday morning, early morning. I told them they pay. These crazy people pay to be a part of WFO behind the scenes. It's not mandatory by any means. And as time goes by, they earn swag. It's pretty amazing. You can join us at patreon.com/WFO Radio. It's been pretty amazing. The fan base and the listeners we have created over the years. And I've been following Pro Stock for a long time. You know, Campanello winning the Gator Nationals way back in the day. That's me in the red jacket. Why do I show you that picture? You wonder why I care about this stuff so much. Well, I didn't have a real choice. Dad brainwashed me. That's it. Captive to Pro Stock and drag racing. Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School, the Dragster Adventure. Guys, someday, sometime, go do the Dragster Adventure. Plan it out. It makes a great gift. You and a buddy, you and a friend, you and the wife, you and the husband, you and your brother. Go do this. You'll learn so much about why everybody else does it. Samtech.edu, the School of Automotive Machinists and Technology. Start your education at full speed. Of course, samtech.edu. Total Seal Piston Rings. The Trackside Tech Talk going on Friday. You have to have a ticket to the race. Don't show up at ZMAX Dragway trying to walk into the pits for free and go to the Tech Talk. You got to buy a ticket. But you can get a GA ticket and walk in and check out the Tech Talk. And I fully expect more Lucas Oil Series racers to be there because at Indy, it was right up against the Jegs All-Stars. This time, a little different. And Marvin Rodak. Rodak's Coffee and Grills.com. Hot sauces, spice rubs. 817-924-6821. It's not just coffee, guys. It's an experience. You can get a WFO Radio face covering if you need such a thing, which some people do now again. Face coverings are back. For just $10, you can rock the WFO colors, and I throw some stickers in there as well. But if you don't want the face covering and you just want the stickers and you want it to be free, I will send you some stickers. You just got to do all the busy work. Self-addressed stamped envelope, Castello Media /WFO stickers, P.O. Box 848-353, Pembroke Pines, Florida 33084. And I got a stack right here that I have yet to stuff. And I probably won't stuff them today. I'll probably do it when I get back from Charlotte because this is going to be a big one. Big one, but stickers are on their way. And if you see me at the races, there is at least a 30% chance I have stickers on me. At least 30%. And hey, shout out to our friend at Torque Calibration Services down there in Australia for all the Aussie listeners down there. We've got some big supporters. And so please support them if you are in the mechanical racing industry, Torque Calibration Services. All right, final comments. Let's see what everybody has to say, and then we're out because we're getting ready for Tommy Johnson Jr. at 3 o'clock. These shows, man, they're pretty crazy. If you like drag racing. How do you rate Maple Grove as a raceway? Top notch. One of my faves because it's old school grassroots drag strip. The area is really nice. I love the drive into the track as long as you go early and don't get caught into traffic. It's like being at the Nürburgring, right? Like up and down and it's cool. Like the first year I ever went, I was in a rental car and I got out of there late and I actually went back and forth into the track a few times because I'm from Florida and elevation change is a novelty to me. Like what? Like I'm driving and it was a wild experience. Very fun. You know, tackling the corners like Takumi on Mount Akina. It's really good, but it's a great race. I think it's a destination race. I flew into Philadelphia for $78. What's up with the prices? Drove to Maple Grove, had a great time, got invited to the Shady Maple for some smorgasbord action, took down a lot, and had a great time. I rate it highly. Now, every race has got its own thing, right? Like Denver. Of course, Bandimere is incredible, and Norwalk is amazing, and Sonoma, out of control, and Vegas. Vegas, I just go to see Jeff Foster. That's really it. The casinos and the food and the restaurant, Halloween and SEMA and all that, 4Y, all that's extra. It's really all about Jeff Foster and Nate Hershey and those guys out there. Great, great folks. Tony's ready for St. Louis. Tech Talk, iPhone 13 announced yesterday. Got my 12 Pro Max. Not impressed, not upgrading. I want to get a 12 Pro Max now that everybody else is upgrading. Please send me the latest deal. Dang, I haven't ate at Shady Maple. Lucky you. It's interesting. All right, guys. We'll see you in a little bit. Tommy Johnson Jr. next up, and we'll finish this great day of racing on WFO.